Hello, everyone.
Hi.
Hello.
Welcome back.
Good morning.
You came back. Or
Hey.
you didn't. This is your first time.
Hey, but welcome to the 1313 podcast. I'm Jacob,
Oh, I'm Tommy.
I'm Jackson.
and we talk about Star Wars
Sometimes.
a lot,
A lot. Most of the time.
mostly.
How's everybody doing?
I'm
this
good.
week?
Are you?
I'm good.
Good for once. It isn't a bad day or a bad week even.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
I'm not mad. No, not disappointed.
We didn't have to go to Walmart, so we're okay.
Yeah. No Walmart trips, so I feel good.
Mm-hmm. New Bad Batch episode came out yesterday.
New Bad Batch episode
We
did
have-
come out.
We have something else to talk about before that first.
We have housekeeping.
Yes.
Housekeeping?
Yeah, our house is pretty dirty. Not this house, like not the set.
I was so
The
confused.
1313 house is pretty dirty. There's a lot to talk about.
Okay.
If you didn't look at the schedule, which I texted.
Huh? There's a schedule?
Okay, here, Tom. Start off about what we just started that's coming out this week, and that's going to be a brand new kind of thing that we do here and there.
Yeah, so we posted one this past Thursday, was it?
Yes.
Yeah, so we're doing a
Thursdays.
new series. It is called Have a Chat in reference to Boba Fett's line in The Mandalorian. Sit down. Have a chat. So basically what we do is we interview another creator in the Star Wars community, whether it be through action figure collecting or just like Star Wars content. We did one this past Thursday with a content creator named Palpamemes. He was super cool to talk to. And so it's going to be something that we don't do consistently every week. It'll just kind of come out whenever it comes out. We were trying to shoot for a bi-weekly schedule, but it kind of just depends on how often we get people to get on the show. So
And
if
our
you
schedule.
yes, so if you have any suggestions as to people you would want us to try to get on the podcast, comment. Let us know who you would like us to have.
Yeah.
So yeah, like Tommy said, we have that new episode up. So check it out if you haven't already. But then our newest guest that we're actually going to be recording today, which will be posted on Thursday, is... It's Out of the Basement, which we are super excited to have on the show. So be looking forward to that, because that'll be really sick.
Big deals, big deals.
Oh yeah. And so on our last couple videos, we had a few comments.
Oh.
Yes, I was actually going to mention that as well.
The one I'm going to talk about is in regard to the Palpamemes interview first that I did. So we had one comment, basically just talking about it was my father commented, and he's an older Star Wars fan. He grew up with the original trilogy, and he's not partial to the sequels whatsoever. But he really liked the conversation that I had with Palpamemes on that episode, and he said that it really opened him up to some new thought processes and ideas regarding those movies, and that it was a really good, enjoyable conversation to watch, which is awesome because that's, like I commented back, the nice thing about Star Wars is it's generational. And there's not a lot of movies or franchises that become this generational thing like Star Wars did. So to have the ability to, and with the new content coming out almost generationally as well, you really get the opportunity to have a lot of different conversation and a lot of different perspectives. So it's good to know that, people enjoyed the conversation that was had with Palpamemes there.
Yeah. I really enjoyed it too. Jacob and I could not be present for that because of specific things that we had going on, but I ended up watching it and I really enjoyed it. We watched it before the Walmart drop, which we'll talk about later.
Yeah. Not that mad at the Black Series this week.
Nope.
I'm not that
really
mad.
happy.
Yeah.
We also had a couple other comments on our main post. Two of which just being about Lego, and then another one about our lightning round. So if you like the lightning round, I liked lightning round. I don't ever want to do it again.
It was impromptu. Because then Jacob didn't like it.
What do you mean I didn't like it?
Because you were just complaining about that a minute ago. You were literally just all like, I didn't want to do that. I didn't want everybody to know that I had to go to work.
Ladies, please. Yeah.
Anyway.
So we actually, before we talk about anything else, I believe we have some new guests.
So the newest guests to the podcast are the newest line from Build-A-Bear. We have the Loth Cat, and then we have the Jawa. They both have sound options that you could choose from. For some reason, the only thing that you could choose for the Loth Cat was the Mandalorian theme. Doesn't make too much sense. But then the Jawa, the Jawa, he makes Jawa sounds. Yeah, so he makes Jawa sounds. So what's funny about Build-A-Bear is that the fact that they kind of treat them like people. So when you purchase them, they come with birth certificates and you can name them. So here's what's going to happen. You guys get to name them, and whatever comments we either think are the funniest or the coolest, or whatever ones get the most likes, will be the ones choosing the names for the Loth Cat and the Jawa. Please specify which is which in the comments, but whoever wins will write the names on the birth certificates, and these people will be on display in our Star Wars room with their certificates for the rest of time, probably, maybe. So, yeah.
Yeah, and if you're the person that picked the name, you'll get to know that every time you see the podcast that you're the one that named that Build-A-Bear. That's super cool.
Yeah, so like we have the birth certificates right here. So they are unnamed. The top line is where the name goes. So yeah.
Yeah, so I mean, I think that's all for our housekeeping. Our house is really clean now.
Yeah, the house is clean.
Nice and clean.
All right. So there was a new episode of the newest Star Wars show, The Bad Batch.
And I think that was a bad episode.
So there's my shill inside wants me to say, no, it wasn't that bad.
No, so it's like, I love this show, don't get me wrong, but that episode was just boring.
It was pure character development, period. That was the purpose of it, was to develop
I was like,
Sid.
get off this planet, please.
I think that my rational brain, I was trying to figure out why did they make this episode at this point in the season. If anything, it confirms a season 2. I think that is
100%.
where we're at with the show.
Which is nice.
Yeah.
Because the thing that I was discussing with my dad is I saw a spoiler, so I know the title for the next episode. I knew the title for this and the next episode. And so everybody that I saw online who knew that the title was going to be like Infestation or whatever it Infested was going to be the Genosian worms that we saw from the Clone Wars again. So we were like, oh no, that would be funny. But it wasn't. But from the title of the next episode, my strongest prediction is that there is going to be a season 2 of The Bad Batch. Like, I feel like the Empire is just like now is going to now just start to develop more. And maybe by the end of this season, we'll see a Stormtrooper put into service.
Phase 3 Clone Trooper.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool.
Which one of the Bad Batch do you think is going to die in the season finale?
Crosshair.
Because if I really have to guess now, if there is going to be a season 2, Crosshair's going to die somehow saving the Bad Batch, and then it's going to be just the batch that we see going around right now in the next season.
I don't know. I don't think Crosshair is going to die. I was thinking Crosshair's going to dome, like maybe Hunter or something.
I think that, I don't think Hunter's going to die.
I don't think so, but...
No.
It's either Crosshair or Wrecker.
Bro, they can't do Wrecker.
Yeah, they'll do Wrecker.
They'll make us sad. They'll be like, my Lola!
Okay.
My arm hurts. Falls and dies. Anyway. But yeah, I think this episode is, it kind of follows the pattern of the Clone Wars and Rebels, where you have an arc or an episode where something really big happens and something important happens. Then you have an episode where nothing major really happens, which I saw a lot of people were not happy with this episode.
Yeah.
But, I mean, at the same time, it's like, I don't really care because it comes out once a week.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, if anything, I got to have a fun little adventure with the Bad Batch.
Exactly.
So,
here's my biggest, nerdiest gripe that I kept explaining to you all. So, the reason I was so upset with the episode is that they completely missed out on the opportunity to show us Darth Maul. And now I'm saying that because for people who might not be caught up with the Clone Wars or maybe know the events going into Rebels a bit. So essentially, by the end of the Clone Wars, Darth Maul controls all the crime syndicates, which would include the Pikes, the Black Sun, and I forget the rest. But the Pikes are in this episode. And
Crimson Dawn.
Yes, Crimson Dawn. But in the final season of the Clone Wars, in the very few last episodes during the Siege of Mandalore, Maul tells the crime syndicates to go into hiding because the galaxy is about to change, the Republic's going to fall, Empire's formed. So he tells them all to cease operation, don't do anything, go into hiding. But now we see the Pikes doing business and acquiring spice. So does Maul feel comfortable now in this new galaxy to continue with crime lord business? Like, is the Empire like the Republic, and they're too busy doing all sorts of other stuff that they don't have time for the syndicates. But then at the same time, I just want to know what happens to Maul in between controlling this vast crime empire to literally becoming nothing that's just hunted down by Vader.
I mean, it's probably only been like a month.
Yeah.
I get that.
I mean, he just probably just got back. He's like, yes, crime. So, I don't think they had to show him. I think it's a nice way to imply that the operations are now beginning again within the galaxy. Or not. Maybe it was just some rogue pikes that are like, I want money and I want it now.
Well, because they're like, we can't fail. Which is like, Maul's whole thing is like, you can't fail this business or I'm going to kill you all.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
Yeah. Is me and Jackson the only people that thought that the horned guy was going to be Vizago?
I was really glad that it wasn't Vizago.
I was like, I don't think we could do 2 Rebels characters in 2 episodes in a row.
No, it's
No,
a Rebel story.
No! I want this to be a Clone Wars sequel, not a Rebels prequel.
I don't want any cameos. And then this episode, there were no cameos. Why aren't there any cameos?
I don't like it.
It's always, it's the classic. Star Wars fans are the best at complaining about Star Wars.
Yep.
It wasn't inherently bad, though. I mean, like, when I finished it, I was like, it could have been better, but it wasn't bad.
For the final 3 episodes of a season, I would have liked a little bit more.
That's what they're doing, though. They're doing it on purpose.
Yeah.
There's, 3 episodes left?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
They did that on purpose. They want to get you to, ooh, we thought it was going to be something big. Ooh.
You said we're going, naughty, you teasing me.
You teasing me. All in all, episode's probably like a 6 out of 10 for me.
Yeah, I'll give it a 5.
Just because, like, if it was earlier on in the season, I probably would have given it like a 7.
Mm-hmm.
Oh well. Not every
episode
episode can be a hit.
They can't all be winners.
There's bad episodes of the Clone Wars too. You gotta realize
It gets
that.
a participation trophy.
Mm-hmm.
It's a participation.
It does. Well, it brought the Pikes in, so like it did something.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
It lets us know about the Pikes and how they're doing.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Wormheads.
So, speaking on Lucasfilm content, this isn't Star Wars, but I was scrolling through TikTok the other day, and I found a leaked video of footage on the set of the new Indiana Jones movie, of Harrison Ford beating some people with protester signs.
Mm-hmm.
I'm so excited for that movie, because Indiana Jones was one of those series that I grew up on as well.
Yep.
And I idolized Indiana, so...
There's an action figure over there of him.
Yep, we got one Indy in the Star Wars room. But,
Indy.
I'm so excited for that to come out.
I'm very excited.
Mm-hmm.
It's good to know that they're in production.
Yeah.
Kenobi's in production right now as well.
Yep. So is Mando season 3
Mm-hmm.
because it's not coming in December.
Mm-hmm.
That's okay.
Because we're getting Book of Boba.
Yep. Season 2.5.
Yep.
So I'm not mad.
Mm-hmm. Have you guys seen some of the supposed like rumors and leaks for the cast of Kenobi?
Yeah, I saw the cast list.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm.
There are some people also saying that there's like a little girl being casted as young Leia. There was one thing I saw saying that Tamir Morrison got casted to play Commander Cody in a flashback. Yeah. How true these are, I don't know.
I saw some. I want Satine.
Mm-hmm.
That would be cool. I did see a cast listing. Well, it was with the Leia as well, because it was for the little girl to play Leia, and then it's an Asian man. But then he's supposed to be fifth brother.
Mm-hmm.
So they're going to bring the Inquisitors in.
Hey, yo.
But that's like, from my understanding though, that's actually supposed to be legit. Like, they're going to introduce Inquisitors into this. But then I saw this huge... I read an article about discussing as well, like, what if during this time we see the early upbringings of Agent Callus, how he gets his name in the ISB, because maybe he has to hunt Obi, or maybe Thrawn has to do it, because they're going to task the Empire's best to find him.
No, because Thrawn comes in a tad bit later into the Empire.
Well, yeah, I was going to say,
like,
I don't know how it would work with the
probably
books.
Because probably Bad Batch Season 2 or during the Bad Batch is when Thrawn would just be found and brought out of exile by the Empire and brought in front of the Emperor.
Mm-hmm.
So I don't know, because Thrawn would then be in school. So Thrawn is in like the Imperial Navy like academy, like during this time.
Little schoolboy Thrawn.
Little school Thrawn.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, yeah.
Yeah.
That would be cool.
That would be pretty lit. I'm excited for a live action Thrawn in the Ahsoka show. That has me.
Lars Mikkelsen.
Yeah.
Thrawn.
Yeah.
It's gonna be good.
gonna be awesome.
It's gonna be great. I love Thrawn.
Mm-hmm.
Thrawn's my favorite Star Wars character.
He's up there with mine. Good books.
Thrawn is really the type of dude that just... But sir, we lost our entire fleet. Yes, but we've learned that they like Picasso. So we will win in the next battle. I'm like...
I will now go and study Picasso for the next 24 hours. Leave me alone. Waddle's back. Yes, I know how to defeat them now because I looked at frickin' Picasso.
So we're out of school. We're out of... What? So we're out of fuel. We're dead in space. That's okay.
We have art.
I have these vulture droids in the hangar bay.
I have these vulture droids. I've just been tinkering with them.
Kind of an interesting take that I think about as well, just because, with my own studies, I feel like in the Star Wars universe, art studying Thrawn is kind of like the substitute for religion, like in our life, because there is there's technically no religion in Star Wars besides the Force.
1313 podcast gets political.
This isn't political. Sorry, talking
Thumbnail,
about religion.
thumbnail.
We can't talk about politics, religion, or the Great Pumpkin, Big Three. Can't do it. Sorry. But it's like, because that's their only form of, I don't know, expression that you can understand people in the Star Wars universe better. So that's just kind of like an interesting thing that I thought about.
Mm-hmm. Nice. I find it funny because I'm reading Throne Ascendancy right now, and it takes place outside of the Star Wars galaxy, so it's like another galaxy, and there are people in it that they believe in the Force, like they have what they call third sight, and they use it for like navigation through space, but they call it like the divine presence. They don't call it the Force because they're just kind of like, I use it for travel, they guide me.
Facts.
So it's kind of cool how it's kind of like how no, I won't mention that on the podcast because I'll probably say something wrong and upset something. So yeah.
Nice.
Yeah. Let's get away from religion.
We are sensitive on the Star Wars podcast. Sensitive.
All right, you want to go on to the big topic for the day that we were going to discuss?
Yeah, so today we wanted to talk a little bit about my favorite part of Star Wars. Animated Star Wars.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Animated Star Wars has easily become one of the best, if not the best, aspect of Star Wars.
Resistance, such a good...
Resistance, we're not going to talk about you right now.
Sorry.
Not right now.
You're going to just... on the back burner.
There you go.
But, it all started, I think, with everybody's favorite release of Star Wars. The holiday special of 1978.
No, it didn't. Okay.
They had an animated bit with Boba Fett, which is now on Disney+.
Okay.
Plus.
I know what you mean now.
That was the beginning of Star Wars animation.
Mm-hmm.
One of my favorites is the 2003 Tartakovsky Clone Wars series. It was a mini-series on Cartoon Network. And that is also now on Disney+.
Yeah.
Which means that it's canon. It's like, no, it's not canon. But that's okay.
Some parts of it are.
I like it a lot.
Yeah.
Stylized Star Wars is the best.
Mm-hmm. I think, like, kind of like what we see in those episodes, it's kind of like what we're going to start to get in Visions. Just a very stylized version of Star Wars in its own, like, kind of like little universe, its own little compact universe.
They focus a lot on Jedi in the Visions, from what I've seen.
Mm-hmm. Exactly, yeah.
Highly Jedi focused.
Yeah, but then again, you can't have anime without having big fights.
Exactly.
Yeah.
So
I feel like at the same time, too, obviously, a lot of the aspects of Visions are very heavily OT based, but that's just because the studios and the people developing those group with the OT.
Exactly.
So no complaints about that
That's
either,
fine.
but it's just an observation. But it's still cool.
Mm-hmm.
So Star Wars animation, what is everybody's favorite Star Wars animated work or show right now?
I'm probably gonna say Clone Wars overall, but Rebels is extremely good.
Yeah.
I absolutely love Rebels. I don't understand why people would dump on it just because of the art style. The story is phenomenal, and I don't mind the art style that much.
Mm-hmm.
But I think Clone Wars will take my top space just because I grew up with it.
Yeah.
And I have so much connection to it and so many memories with it.
Yeah.
Plus that finale was, like, astronomical. It was so good.
Yeah. I would honestly say as well, because this is something I've talked about with my dad, is that in my opinion, Clone Wars and Rebels are on the same caliber. They're both extremely good shows, but I only like Clone Wars better just because I grew up with it.
Mm-hmm.
And I was like so excited to watch it every...
Nostalgia bug.
Exactly, because it's more nostalgic to me because I didn't watch Rebels when it came out. Like, I just didn't care that much. I only watched it, like, on Disney Plus all the way through, like, when it came out on that.
Yeah.
Because I saw, like, clips of it, and then, like, I saw the ending a little bit, and I was like, that actually looks kind of cool. Maybe I should watch it. But it's phenomenal, though.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, mine comes from nostalgia, too. Mine is the 2003 Clone Wars, is probably my favorite. It's just, I like the stylized Star Wars, like the extra stylized, and then just like the mini 5-minute stories that they told, and just how big in scope it was, you know? The battles were huge, you know?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that was sick.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, do you guys have tissues, or do I need to leave to get a tissue?
I got you.
I feel like I have like a head cold or something.
Is it from the dog again?
No, I was having it on the way here.
Dang.
But yeah, Jacob is gone, so now I'm taking over the podcast.
Sheesh.
So yeah, but the 2003 Clone Wars is truly magnificent.
Yeah.
And they just got action figures.
I have
Yes.
Oh,
Which we'll kinda
thanks.
touch on a
As you
little
shook
bit.
We step aside.
We'll touch on the special action figures
Take a
later.
seat.
But yeah, the reason the Tarkovsky Clone Wars isn't up there with me is because like I would only watch like bits and pieces, but then the animated Clone Wars just takes the #1 spot for me because that's what I remember the most. Because I think it was 2 or 3. It had to be 2 years ago. There was a garage sale going on in our neighborhood, and someone was selling the DVD for the first Tarkovsky Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
It was the first part of it. So I bought that, and
There's a volume 1 and a volume 2.
yes, I think we do have volume 2 though.
On Disney Plus.
Oh, okay, on Disney Plus. Yeah, pardon, sorry, but both are really good. I was really happy to find that because it was like $3.
No, it was like 99 cents. That's
oh no,
why we were like,
right.
It's really good. It really is like
Mhm.
like you know, all like jokes aside, like that series really holds up today. I mean,
Yeah.
and the cool thing about the 2008 Clone Wars show, which everyone knows, I feel like is more popular now.
Exactly.
Well, by far, it's not even like a guess.
Yeah.
The 2008 Clone Wars tries to keep the same continuity with the events of the 2003 Clone Wars.
Mm-hmm.
So, like, they introduce Asajj Ventress in the 2008 Clone Wars, but they make reference to, I think it's either in the Clone Wars movie or the first couple episodes of Season 1, they make reference to the fact that Anakin and her fought on Yavin in the 2003 Clone Wars. Spoilers, by the way, for the 2003 Clone Wars.
if you haven't seen the thing that came out in 2003 and it's 2021, oopsie daisy.
Sorry. No, but it's cool because and there's some other details too that they bring up in the Clone Wars.
Something that connects. The fact that when Grievous kidnaps Chancellor Palpatine, Shaak Ti's nowhere to be found.
Yes.
Because that's in the 2003 Clone Wars that I'm pretty sure she dies.
No, he like has his Magna Guards just try to take her out. She takes
you're
them
right.
out. Then she goes and Grievous kills Roran Karab, which is the Ithorian Jedi, and I don't remember the name of the other Jedi. But then he doesn't kill her, but he definitely like puts her down basically.
Yeah, and then Moose Windu goes, hey!
Force crunch.
And
Yeah.
gives him the cough.
That is something that they retconned because Grievous coughs all through the Clone Wars.
Yeah.
Yeah.
In the 2008 Clone Wars, but that's a tiny detail I don't care about.
Exactly.
But yeah, it's cool that they tried to keep that continuity between the two shows because that was also before Disney took over Star Wars.
Exactly.
So they did want to keep that continuity there.
Something I think is absolutely masterful storytelling is the fact that we have the entirety of Clone Wars, yet Anakin and Grievous never see each other just because of the throwaway line in Revenge of the Sith of General Grievous, you're shorter than I expected. So it's
Exactly.
like,
They can never meet face to face. They can fight in space, but
they've been in the same room multiple times with each other. They've just never been like, hi, Grievous.
Which, that's a cool detail. I know, thinking about the Tarkovsky Clone Wars, there's the whole sequence where it's the fight on Mon Calamar, between the two. It's the Mon Calamari versus the Quarren. That was on the tip of my tongue. They kept that in, but it's a whole arc in the Clone Wars.
Yes.
With the prince's son, who's kind of lame at the beginning, but
Prince Lee Char.
Yeah.
Did you know he's like they make him to look like Jesus? Because there's a scene in one of those episodes where he tells his people that he will return when they're all imprisoned, and then they like pan out and he's standing like he's in a cross. I'm being serious. You can go back and watch the episode.
No,
That
there's
is
a
what
lot
they
of religious aspects in Star Wars, intentionally. Though.
There's a lot of messaging in the Clone Wars specifically that references culture, both religious and secular, you know? And so I think that that's really cool too, that that's something you can pick up on. I think that's one unique aspect of Star Wars animation is that it's not just for kids. When you're a kid, it pulls you in because it's that animated art style. But when you're an adult, there are all these underlying messages and all these different things that you can see that really just immerse you into the universe more and more. And I think that's why people love the animation so much.
I agree.
I've never really met that many people that are Star Wars fans that say they just hate all Star Wars animation. Because
They do exist, though.
Yes!
They're a different breed.
Different breed.
But yeah, I mean, the Clone Wars is great, and then I love that the Bad Batch is kind of sewing together the Clone Wars and Rebels. It's kind of honestly bringing the animation its own timeline. Because then you got the movies, and then you've also got the animation, you know?
And they're all kind of connected, but...
And then you've got Resistance.
Which, okay.
I've
Isn't
tried
bad.
to watch it. The art style, I loved the art style in Resistance.
Oh, yeah.
There was, when I was a kid, I forget the show, but there was an Iron Man show that had a similar style of animation.
The Marvel What If series has a similar type of animation too.
Yeah.
But I absolutely love like the skylines and stuff in Resistance. I've just tried to watch it. That green character, Dad, do you know his name?
What's his name? Niku.
Niku.
I can't stand him.
I can't stand him. Kind of like how OT fans watching Jar Jar in theaters for the first time were like, I hate this man. That's me.
But
with that guy.
making Niku like Jar Jar was so deliberate.
Yeah.
You know?
It's intentional.
Well,
1,000%.
because when you don't have any plot driving forces, you need a character that's so dumb that he creates plot.
I mean, I liked Commander Pyre.
Pyre's cool, and I really like his figure too.
I like the cameo of Kylo Ren for like less than a minute.
I like that Poe Dameron was in the show.
Yeah, and the Oscar actually voiced him in the show.
Yep, and BB-8.
I feel like Resistance' purpose was definitely to also help kind of tie in events of the sequel trilogy in animation, kind of like what Clone Wars and Rebels does. So
I don't know. I feel like it wasn't. Like, I mean,
it was in the era, but it didn't do everything. I totally see what you mean.
It folded in, like, events from The Force Awakens.
Yes.
But I think that's the other thing about the sequel trilogy as opposed to the other two trilogies is there's like years of gap between each movie in the timeline, whereas in the sequel trilogy, 7 and 8 happen back to back. Like, there is no dead space in between the two movies. Maybe, like, 12 hours, you know, but like it's literally back to back. And then the Rise of Skywalker takes place 1 year after the events of The Last Jedi.
I didn't know that.
So if they did do an animated show, which I think would be really cool, they would have to make it like Clone Wars style animation.
The Reign of the First Order is really short then.
Well, they would have to make it in that 1 year gap, which you could make like a 4-season show out of that 1 year. You really could. Because it's going to mainly focus on Poe, Rey, and Finn. You know? And so you really could make a show. But then at the same time, like, there's so much stuff that is in books and comics with the sequel trilogy. Like, there's Resistance Reborn, which takes place right after The Last Jedi. And it kind of leads you into The Rise of Skywalker. But then again, Dave Filoni does like his retcons of the comics in his TV shows with like Commander Grey and the death of Depa Billaba.
However, I feel like that is intentional sometimes because the comics aren't Dave. You know, I feel like Dave has a linear vision for Star Wars, like this and this.
Oh yeah, the Filoni verse. it's gonna retcon
Oh my
everything.
gosh. But Dave Filoni wants certain things to happen a certain way, and so the fact that the comics aren't made by him, the people writing those, I should say, kind of overstep, I feel like, a lot on like what definitely happens, where Dave Filoni's like, well, you can do that, but that's just definitely not what's gonna happen, you know, with Commander Grant up at Balaba. I mean, it's like,
I feel like, because there's no way that Bad Batch wasn't being created when the final season of Clone Wars was. There's no way there.
Oh, it was already in the works.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So I have a theory that they already had like planned out, like the scene for her death with Commander Gray, and then just as that was coming out, the comic came out, and he was
The comic has been out though, hasn't it, for like years?
I don't remember.
I have to look up when it, because again, don't read the comics or the novels here.
I read some comics.
I have not really read the comics. I used to read like the old Dark Horse comics, the graphic novels.
Tag and Bink. Have you ever read the Tag and Bink comics?
Those
No,
are funny.
but I know of them.
We have one of them if you want to read
Yeah.
it.
Really?
Yeah, it's
They're
super.
funny.
They're super funny. It's like it kind of explains the conveniences of the original trilogy and like things that
Yeah.
happened just because like two rebels that tried to flee the Tanta V4, they tried to flee that, and then they also just kind of like started rolling and creating every little minor like convenience that you see in the Star Wars universe. It's because of them. They also shot C-3PO on Cloud City because C-3PO got them caught on the Tanta V4 and Bink had a vendetta against him.
Here's the other thing about Star Wars comics. I like them. However, I'd rather see stuff on the big screen because it's more easily accessible.
Exactly. And then
And yeah.
a comic, for me, it's like you can literally finish that in less than 10 minutes because it's a quick flip through. It isn't long, you know? So, I mean, like, that's why I don't really care about them too much anymore. And I feel like nowadays, a ton of comics are literally, like, mostly advertising because they kind of need that to survive because I feel like it is a dying form of media. So that's why I would rather have visual media for Star Wars rather than in a written form half the time.
And it also, I prefer when a movie that's based on a book or a comic is different than the book or comic. Because if it's the same exact thing, I already know every story beat and I already know what's going to happen. I mean, just look at the MCU movies. Part of the reason they're so successful with Marvel fans is because they're different from the comics. It makes them unpredictable. It makes you want to watch them because you're not going to want to, as a Marvel fan, you're not going to want to watch a movie of a comic you already read because you know every single thing that's going to happen. Like, yeah, the movie's going to look cool, but you already know what's going to happen. So, like, I feel like it's good that they do it differently.
It's like the same thing with Lord of the Rings. If they did the exact thing that they did in the books, it would be like, we are going to battle, and then it would cut to the end of the battle when everything was done. Because Tolkien never wrote in a fight in any of the books. Because I read through The Hobbit, and at the end of the Hobbit movies, there's like the big battle, all the dwarves and
Battle
stuff.
of the Five Armies.
And then in the book, Bilbo goes, it's battle time! And then a bird drops a rock on his head and knocks him out for the entire thing. And then he wakes up at the very end of it. Which I was kind of upset when I was reading the book. I was like, are you serious?
I read The Hobbit 3 times in middle
Really?
school. Yeah, and it would give me, it would make me sleepwalk at nighttime.
Wait, huh?
Yeah, like The
What?
Hobbit. Yeah, my dad, when I was like 12 years old, my dad would read me The Hobbit, and I would fall asleep. And my parents would always tell me stories of me sleepwalking. I would come downstairs, and apparently this one time, I came down the stairs, and I was asleep, and I went up to my dad, and he was sitting at the dining room table, and I said, "Watch, I'm gonna win." And then I started running laps around the house in my sleep. I don't know how. Apparently, I was going pretty fast.
Tommy working up a sweat in his sleep.
Tommy said,
And then apparently, yeah, I used to be a big sleepwalker when I was a kid.
oh.
Now I just talk in my sleep a lot.
Same.
Yeah, Jackson does that a lot. Sometimes we'll just be like moseying through the house and he's asleep. I just hear, no. I'm just kind of like, oh.
There was a few weeks ago, Jackson and I were playing Call of Duty Warzone, and Jacob was sleeping behind Jackson. And Jackson asked me over the microphone if I needed ammo, and Jacob responded yes.
Yeah.
Yeah, because he uses snipers all the time, so I was like, Tom, you need sniper ammo? And Jacob was like, yeah. And I was like,
give me the snow ammo. And I was
Yeah.
dead asleep too.
I mean, that's
I know. It's
Star
weird.
Wars was another one that made me sleepwalk. Like one time, my dad came in and checked on me when I was sleeping, and I like sat up in my bed and I went meow meow. And I went back to sleep.
I did that during school apparently because I would always go to bed at like 9, and then my roommate would come back later and go to bed at like 11, 12. So I'd already be asleep. And so one time he walked in the room, like I sat up straight in my bed and looked at him. And then I went back to sleep. I don't remember it because he told me in the morning, he's like, bro, do you remember looking at me last night? He's like, I thought I woke you up. And I was like,
He actually really said.
I looked at him and then I went back to sleep.
Like a vulture just breaking.
Oh my
It's pretty
goodness.
funny.
That's so funny.
Yeah, but I mean that's just I've always loved like fantasy, and that's the nice thing about animation in Star Wars is that you can have that larger than life feel, and it doesn't like take you out of it as much because you know there's like when you watch live action, and again I love live action Star Wars. Don't get me wrong, but like when you see like a CG effect of like a Jedi jumping 20 feet, it like in the back of your mind you're like. There's just that, you know, that logical part of your mind that's like, humans can't do that. But then, when you watch animation, you're already in the art style, so you just don't think anything of it when a Jedi jumps 50 feet. So you're like completely immersed.
Exactly.
Yeah, but then when you get pulled out of the immersion for live action, sometimes it could just be the effects. If they look even the slightest bit wonky, it'll kind of pull you out because you're like...
I mean, that's the other nice thing about Star Wars animation, too, is that you can have shorter Star Wars. I like watching The Mandalorian and the Star Wars movies, but they're longer. So, like, if I only have 20 minutes to sit down and watch something, I'll just throw up one of my favorite episodes of Rebels or the Clone Wars.
Exactly.
You know, I don't have to, like, be like, oh, I'm going to watch part of the movie today. I'll watch the part tomorrow and keep going, so on and so forth. Which, by the way, I have an urge to watch The Phantom Menace. I really want
itch.
Yeah, getting that itch. Yeah. That's Wizard!
I'm getting the itch to reread the first Thrawn book. And I haven't even finished Ascendancy yet. Oops.
I've got an urge to... Jacob broke the mic.
I didn't break it.
Jacob broke the mic.
No, it...
It's alright, Jacob. I'm not mad. I'm just mad. But yeah, so... Star Wars animation is honestly one of my... It's like really near and dear to my heart. But then again, like... For us, we grew up with it. We always had Star Wars animation growing up, whether it was the 2003 Clone Wars or the 2008 Clone Wars. Then we got Rebels, and like right as Clone Wars got cut off at like season 6. So we've always had Star Wars animation at the forefront of our Star Wars experience.
Exactly.
You know, so I can understand like people who like live action more if they grew up with the live action. You know, if you grew up with the prequels or if you grew up with the original trilogy, then that's what you're gonna like.
Watch, in 10 years from now, there's going to be people like, Resistance is the best show.
Dude, there are people right now that think Resistance is the best show.
And good for them.
Good for them.
Good for them.
Be yourself. Enjoy Star Wars how you want to enjoy it.
We do not care.
We do not.
We do not care.
We do not care. I just don't like it. And that's just a me thing.
Star Wars is the best because it has so much to it. You don't have to like or see everything to like Star Wars. You know? You don't like with... Like, you know, there's certain series, like with the MCU, it really does make sense if you watch everything. Because there are so many details. But with Star Wars, you can kind of jump into any story at any point, anywhere, and kind of get the gist of what's going on. Because they drop those little member berries all the time about, remember when this happened and blah, 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 you know?
Yeah, I agree.
The poor Family Guy, like, remember when this happened? And that's all their jokes.
But yeah, I mean, Star Wars animation is... Now, if we had to make a tier list of the Star Wars animated shows, which ones would be S tier?
Clone Wars.
The Clone Wars. What about... Where is the Bad Batch right now? Where is the Bad Batch?
It's an A or a B.
Clone War, Rebel, Bad Batch, Tarkovsky, Resistance.
Well, that's just your top. If we're talking about S tier, if we're talking about tier list, like grading it, I'm saying like probably A or a B. Just because it's a follow-up to Clone Wars, and the art style is amazing, the animation is flawless, and the story is good. It's not like earth-shattering story, so it's not like an S tier. So, but it's high up there. Resistance gets an F.
Hey,
For me. That's my opinion.
Resistance, you tried.
That's
tried.
my opinion. That's
We
my
like
opinion. That's my
A for
opinion.
A
That's
tier
my
for
opinion.
effort.
No.
A tier for effort.
I'm getting a D for effort then.
I don't know. I think I need to watch it again.
I've tried to. I've only gotten 5 episodes in, and I just sit there like, I can't.
I mean, there were episodes. I mean, but it was it was like winter semester of my last year of college.
Mm-hmm.
And I like committed in 1 week. I wanted to watch the entirety of Resistance. So I would just watch episode after episode after episode, and I would just sit there in my chair, and I would just want to I just want to turn the TV off, because there would actually be some episodes where I was like, there's no way that they just did that. But then again, it's a kid's show.
Yeah.
It's small children.
There's no way that the green guy opened his mouth once again to create new plot points. Whoa!
Yeah, Niku! Woo!
Niku said, I don't know how to shut up. I know. I'll create problems.
Why do you kind of sound like him, though?
Because
Why do you kind of sound
I
like
rewatched
Niku?
the first 5 episodes like 3 times just because I'm like, I'm
See,
going to watch it.
That's a rut that you can get stuck in, because, like, I've done that with shows where I try to watch from the beginning, then I try again, then I try again, and I just can't get past the first few episodes.
Because I get 5 episodes in and I go, wow, this sucks. Just keep going.
But, I mean, Star Wars Animation, we love you. We want to see more of you.
Yeah.
Keep making Star Wars Animation.
Yep. And I don't think they're ever going to stop.
Oh, no,
That's all
and I'm
right.
glad they aren't.
And with that, I feel like this is a good time to transition into the Black Series portion of the podcast.
The Black Series.
So,
Not a whole lot to talk about.
We do have some Black Series news with the Walmart con that happened yesterday. We did get some new figures for the vintage.
Jacob, I'm just going to put a microphone on the back wall for you.
Stop talking when you're not near the mic.
You can still hear me. So, okay. No, we did get some. We got some new figures.
So-
we have no idea what they're going to look like.
So we
but-
had more exclusives this week, which really just wraps it up to tell us that we've had more exclusives releases than regular, common, all-encompassing releases this year.
Which is funny because Hasbro's like, we hear you fans. We know you don't like exclusives, and we're gonna do something about it. More exclusives. They doubled down on it, which is
They
kind of
tripled down at this point.
Yes.
I feel like.
quadruple down.
Because there was 2 regular
I-
release waves.
I feel like there were never this many exclusives.
No.
Nope.
But anyway, Walmart did a huge drop because, you know, every retailer has to do a convention now in the summer, a virtual convention.
It's stupid.
Collector Con. So
But this was a good drop.
they did 6 figures for the vintage collection.
Yes.
And then they did 3 figures for the Black Series. So for the 3 3/4 inch scale, they did Clone Captain Fordo. They did the blue ARC Trooper that follows around Clone Captain Fordo. They did a battle droid with the Geonosis coloring, because in most of the Clone Wars, the droids have that Geonosis coloring. They also did Luminara Unduli. They did Barra Sophie.
Yep.
And they did Ayla Secura.
Yep.
All of these characters are in reference to the 2003 Tartakovsky Clone Wars.
Yep.
Hey, that's Tommy's favorite.
Yeah, it's my favorite. The figures are really, really good looking for 3 3/4 scale. I really wish that we would have gotten the blue ARC Trooper in the Black Series, because in the Black Series we got Clone Captain Fordo, we got Mace Windu as he appears on Dantooine, and then we also got General Grievous. But here's the catch: you have no idea
What they look like.
the items that you pre-ordered look like yet,
And they already took our money.
and they took your money.
Woo!
They show up in April, so hopefully between now and April we'll get to see in-hand shots of the figures.
We definitely will by the beginning of the year.
I want to see the packaging more than anything, because this was a Walmart drop that I had no problems with.
Exactly.
They were up for like 15 minutes each, I want to say.
I think they were up for so long because of the fact that it's kind of like a niche
They were
in the
hard
Star
to
Wars
find.
universe. They were hard to find on the website, but then also the fact it's like you don't even know what they look like.
So that turned a lot of people off. And I've seen a lot of collectors say, too, like, I'm done buying exclusives, period. You know? So...
We're not.
I'm not.
We're not.
But yeah,
Hey,
I got 2 of each.
Hey, if you're done buying exclusives, that's okay. Just leaves more units for me.
Woo! But here's where I'm at. If the packaging is not the the packaging for the figures that came out with the show. If it's just like an archive like card back or something, something generic, then I'm probably gonna just keep one of each and then give away the other ones or like give them to friends.
Exactly.
But if the packaging is like the Clone Wars figures that were Target exclusive, then I will do. I will have 2 of each, one to keep in the box and one to keep.
I want them to do the 2003 Clone Wars style of the box.
That would be cool. And I definitely feel like they'll do it because they won't do it in an Attack of the Clones or a Clone
That would be weird
Wars.
if they did it in an Attack of the Clones box. You know what I mean?
Because then here's the other thing as well. A lot of people were upset that we didn't get the Jedi and everything else in the Black Series. Like how, because the Vintage Collection actually already has most of those characters. They just did a re-release essentially for Lucasfilm 15.
They did.
But my biggest point is that the anniversary for Attack of the Clones is next year, so they're gonna do.
How many
Jedi.
years will that be?
20? Yeah.
20 years?
Yeah.
They're going to do a ton of figures.
Well, that's the thing. They'll probably do Phase 1 clones that we haven't had in
Star Wars Black
forever.
Series Acklay. You heard it here first. On the 1313 Star Wars podcast. Star Wars Black Series, 6-inch scale, Acklay. It's
Dexter's Diner.
It's going to...
Comic-Con exclusive Dexter's Diner.
Comic-Con exclusive.
Oh, they
Oh my
have,
God.
they're only
Dexter
gonna,
Jetster.
you're only gonna get you're gonna get one section of the counter and like maybe a stool.
But the promo images are going to show the whole thing.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That would actually be cool if we got Dexter's Diner.
I would...
That would be sick.
Imagine getting a big giant set. Oh, my pits are sweating. Oops. Imagine you get this big giant set, and it's the Geonosis arena. Okay, so you get the pillars that Anakin, Obi-Wan, and Padme are chained to, and then you get the Nexu, the Reek, and the Acklay with a couple Geonosians. HasLab, do it.
They won't do it.
They won't.
They will never do it. You know what they'll do?
Rancor.
Rancor.
But Rancor's fine.
Rancor's cool. I don't mind it. I'm not getting it, but I don't mind it.
Yeah.
We'll
But
probably
so yeah,
get
for everybody
we'll
who's
use that
worrying
as a
about the
hammer.
Jedi, wait till next year because that's the other thing as well. They'll probably do part of the Jedi for this, and they'll do more of the Jedi when it's the
True.
anniversary for Revenge of the Sith. But I hope that they re-release Phase 1 clones because I want those.
No, don't, because I just bought them all, and I have them all now. So never do
Learn
it.
to play the game, Tommy. You gotta wait sometimes, like for Code.
Sometimes. I think it would be really easy for them to do a Geonosis set like that because they already have Anakin and Obi-Wan and Padme from Episode 2.
Padme, I thought Padme, I've seen Padme on the aftermarket. I thought she'd be super expensive, but she's not.
Nope.
She's like $30.
Yeah.
Go pick up a Padme, because
She got loose ankles and tiny feet, which make her hard to stand. But
don't pick up a Padme. I don't have one. I don't have one.
I don't need one.
But
we got one.
yeah, so the Black Series, here's what I hope. Here's what I would like to see with the Black Series figures. For Grievous, I want him to be that grayish blue color that he is in the show. And I want him to have the white cape.
Yeah.
That's
and arms
all I-
extendable for 4 lightsabers.
I also noticed he was only $26.49, which is the same price as a regular exclusive. So I thought he was going to be like a deluxe release. No. He was just a regular release.
Yeah.
Interesting.
And on a Captain Rex, single in the box, $36.
Yeah. Anyway. So, Jacob is mad.
I bought 3 of them.
But yeah, so for Mace Windu, I hope that he comes with the cape that is attached to...
That would be cool.
I don't want a cloak. I want a cape. That's all I ask for Mace Windu. Because they'll do probably the Target exclusive Clone Wars Obi-Wan body, because that would make sense. That would be fine. I just want to see the cape attached to the torso in some way. I don't want it to be a cloak. It needs to be a cape. Now, Captain Fordo. I'm asking a lot of Captain Fordo, and I already have accepted that it's not going to happen.
I'm excited though.
I'm excited nonetheless. Now, when I was younger, I had I had a 3 3/4 Captain Fordo, and the cool thing about him was you could switch his comma, his pauldron, and his helmet to make him Phase 1 or Phase 2 Captain Fordo. Because in the Tartakovsky series, he has 2 different looks. He has the Phase 1, and then he's got the Phase 2 look, which the helmet looks similar to like Commander Neo and other like clones with those kind of, like Commander Wolf's helmet too.
Yep.
So I really would like to see that feature there. And it really wouldn't require too much of Hasbro. Like, you really wouldn't have to do a lot of, like, new molds. You would really just have to make the Phase 2 helmet for his character. Or if you even wanted to just use the Commander Wolf helmet that's already available, you could do that and just repaint it.
Exactly.
I mean, his helmet, his Phase 2 helmet kind of has like a little bit of a fin at the top, like a mohawk almost in the show. But I wouldn't even care if it was just... I just want the ability to switch.
Exactly.
And I don't think they're going to do it. I really don't think so.
I don't think, but it's wishful thinking.
It would be cool. It's
But
a
yeah.
stretch.
I just really am interested that they didn't have any official images for the figures yet. That's what kind of put me off.
Yeah.
Because you know what it is? It was, they were like, we need something from Walmart for an exclusive. What's something that people will buy? And they said, here's an idea. And they said, we'll take the idea, just put it in production now, and in a couple of years, we'll show it to them finally.
Yeah, I just
That put me off.
yeah, me too. And then if the figures don't look good, I'm just gonna cancel them probably.
Yeah.
But they'll look good. We know they'll look good.
Hopefully.
But then we had Target's back jab to Walmart, which I thought was a little bit ridiculous, where they have the carbonized Mandalorian figures coming out with the Paz Vizsla, the Tank Trooper, and the Scout Trooper, which also aren't going to be available till the spring, like with these, because
Till May.
they literally said, "Oh, Walmart's going to do it. Here's some figures too." Oh, and
Well,
they're
Target's
not
also
gonna
been
come
doing
out.
a collector con all month.
They have, correct, which I'm okay with, but I didn't like this release this day and then practically the next day this, because I couldn't get anything. But they're all still up on the Target website right now if you want to get it. I'm hoping that they're going to be available when the con is over, that they'll just be on the website to buy.
I got the Shore Trooper and I got the Scout Trooper. I don't know why I got the Scout Trooper, because the carbonized Scout Trooper doesn't even look any different than the regular Scout Trooper from what I
Looks
can
the same.
see. So I don't. I mean, I still got them because I'm a troop builder. So
Yeah.
I passed on the Paz Vizsla though. I
like the
have him already, the original one, the red box.
Yeah.
So I didn't quite care.
Thank you to Yak Face for the images used in
Yeah.
the podcast today.
Yep.
Yak Face, the #1 source for your Star Wars Black Series information.
Find him on Twitter and Instagram.
At Yak_face.
And
He also
if
has a
you-
website.
Facts.
And his links are in his bio for things to come out. Did you see his
I saw that
tutorial
post.
image?
I saw
Yeah.
that post.
Yeah.
Alright, now to new Black Series figures that we finally got in.
Weekly pickups.
Weekly pickups.
Weekly pickup.
So this week we got the new Darth Maul comic version. We have one in box. Jackson has one out of
this
the box.
is mine out of box that I have. And honest to goodness, I was actually thinking about passing on this one for the longest time, just because I was all like, oh, I don't really know if I'm going to like it. But I'm in love with the figure. The lightsaber comes apart, the blades come out, and you can put it on his belt, and it's just a ripped, shirtless Darth Maul. It's so cool. It's so... The posability, too, is really nice. I thoroughly enjoy the figure. I really, really like it.
Be nice.
do
It
be
is
kinda
so
nice,
very
though.
nice.
And then the other figure that we got was one
careful
that...
picking it up.
So me and Jackson both got this one.
Yes.
This is the Deluxe Mandalorian.
Came
That
back out with Target Con. This is the last
This
chance
is-
to get it too.
This is
It
helmet
already
on.
sold out.
It did sell out, yeah. So
And
if
then
you
I
missed
have the
it-
one without the helmet on.
Helmet fell on the floor.
And he looks not like Pedro Pascal.
No.
But I think it's because of the hair.
He looks like Soggy Pedro.
Yep.
And then
Which
it
is
also came
unfortunate.
with a prim for the child.
Hover pram.
Woo!
I like him holding the child though. I thought that was cooler. That's what I did with mine. But
And then I picked up, I had someone on Mercari that was selling 7 First Order troopers. It's Captain Phasma, First Order TIE Pilot, the Snowtrooper Officer, regular Snowtrooper, the Executioner, the regular First Order Stormtrooper, and the First Order Flame Trooper. I got him for a really good deal, and again, like I said, I'm a troop builder. I like to have all the different unique looks for all kinds of troopers, be it Imperial, First Order, or Republic. So having this really bolstered my First Order side of the collection, because that was really the faction that was lacking. I have a ton of clones, I have a ton of Stormtroopers, but I don't have a lot of First Order troopers. So now I have pretty much all of them that Hasbro has released. So I'm really happy about it, and the figures look awesome. And a lot of them are like the older figures from like 2015. So I'm really happy with them. I think they turned out really well. I think that they really hold up today. The only one that I'm not a fan of that much is the Flame Trooper, just because you can't really get him to hold his blaster.
Yeah, that's an issue that we had too with him.
Same with this is the original First Order Stormtrooper.
We got quite a few of those.
But you can't really get him to bend his elbows past 90, or even get to 90. But that's okay. I'm not mad about it. It's an old figure. I mean, they just sit on the shelf.
Boxes.
Yeah, they just sit on the shelf. I mean, it's not like I pose them every now and again, but it's not like I need them to hold their... You know what I mean? If it was a new figure and it did that, I'd probably be upset, but it's an old figure. I'm not mad.
Yep.
And they look good together. They all look good. The First Order looks great.
I agree.
So I think that about wraps it up for today's episode. Just keep in mind, in the comments, drop names for what you want.
Yes.
The Lone Cat and the Jawa. Please specify which is which. Whatever one has the most likes, or I personally find the funniest, will win. You can find us on Spotify, YouTube,
Google
Anchor,
Podcasts, Apple
Podcasts. If you can listen to podcasts on it, you can find us.
Yeah.
Like, share, subscribe on YouTube, please. We very much appreciate it. Tell your friends about us.
Heck yeah.
Share us in your Facebook groups.
And we just really want to say like how much we appreciate you guys' feedback on this last couple podcast episodes. Like, we've been getting way more listens than we ever thought we would be getting. And so we really appreciate the feedback that everyone gives, and we appreciate people tuning in and listening to the podcast. And it means so much to us because, like we've said it before, we would do this either way, even if we didn't get any people listening to it, just because we love Star Wars and we love to just talk about it. But, you know, just the fact that people are enjoying it just makes us really, really happy.
So we thank you all for listening. Like, share, subscribe, do all that fun stuff. And yeah, we shall see you next week with our special upload with Out of the Basement.
Woo!
Bye!
Ta-ta.